Hey everybody, Jane here, and today I am doing a review on The Secret of NIMH. The hardcover title of this, and what you may be familiar with, is Miss Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. This is a middle grade story about a mouse named Miss Frisby whose son is sick. He's very sick and they need to move him, and the Dr. Mouse has told her that moving her son may mean he will die. So she is faced with a very difficult decision. They live on this farm, and the farmer is about to mow up their home, or to plow up their home. And if she doesn't move her son, her whole family will die when their house is destroyed. But if she does try to move her son, she's worried she can't do it safely so that he will be able to survive with his illness. As she is going through these things, trying to get assistance and figure out what to do, she ends up being directed to the Rats of NIMH. And a large part of this book is about learning who the Rats of NIMH are and whether or not they can help her. I gave this book a 3 out of 5. I had a real struggle with this book. I had a real struggle in the beginning because I was really bored. I thought I would be really engaged in Mrs. Frisby's story because I have children, and a sick child seems like it would be right up my alley, but for whatever reason, I just didn't care. I was not engaged with Miss Frisby, and I wasn't very interested in the things going on with her. Now, once she met the Rats of NIMH, I was very engaged in their story. So, if this makes sense, the beginning of the book, which is about Miss Frisby, I really struggled with, to the point that I got the audiobook from the library because I just was having such a hard time reading it. I was having a hard time wanting to pick it up, and I thought, well, if I get the audiobook, I can listen to it in the background, and I don't have to be sitting and paying attention to it, and maybe it'll go by faster. But once the Rats of NIMH showed up, and we learned about who they are and their story, I was really engaged. I was really loving it. And then, the third half of the book, so the first half of the book I didn't like. The second half of the book I really liked. And the third half of the book I was kind of meh about. So, this book I found the Rats of NIMH story very interesting, but the rest of the book I didn't. And the ending I felt was very contrived. Now, this is a middle grade book, okay? It's a middle grade, so we only have to be so realistic. But the things that happen at the end all just fall so neatly into place, but there wasn't a thing that really started it. It's hard to say without spoiling it, but this thing happens, and Miss Frisby just happens to be in the right place at the right time to find out about this thing happening. And this thing that happened wasn't started by anything recently in the book. So it wasn't like this thing happened that caused a chain reaction. It's kind of implied that it did, but it didn't happen in a timely manner. It's just something that we kind of know happened at some point, but for whatever reason, today, when it is convenient to our story, this thing has set off a chain of events that Miss Frisby just happens to learn about. And so I really struggled with the ending for that reason, and there's a lot of ambiguity at the end. To the point that I did look up if there is a sequel, because there were some things left unanswered that would have been nice to have answered. And there is a sequel. However, it is not written by this author. It is written by his daughter. And on Goodreads, apparently, they did not think it was nearly as good as the first one. And I didn't even love this one, so if they aren't thinking it's as good as the first one, I don't think I'm going to try it. They also felt that it didn't follow some of the canon laid out in this book, although again, the ambiguity. There's a thing that happens at the end here, and that book interprets it differently than this book kind of encourages you to interpret it, or at least as Miss Frisby and her children interpret the event. They have a discussion about it at the end, and they are like, well, this is probably what happened, but we don't know, and we never find out. And then the next book, they're wrong, according to, and that upset people because they're like, no, we were basically told by the Miss Frisby that that is the most likely scenario, and we agree. So yeah, I think if you are getting this book for an actual middle grade child, they might very well enjoy it. I'm going to be putting it on my daughter's shelves because this is a cute little fantasy story. It's got mice and rats, and especially when we get into the Rats of NIMH, it's really stinking cute, and there's some great stuff in here. I felt like it dragged, and as an adult reader, I didn't love it. I do kind of want to get the movie to watch with my kids and see if I am more engaged in the beginning of it through the movie, because I felt like, I guess maybe it took an awful long time to get to the Rats of NIMH, and they're the most interesting part of the book. And I understood why, and I understood Miss Frisby's got to go on her adventures to get to the Rats of NIMH. But I think I just needed something more to be happening, and I don't know why I felt that way, because again, a sick child rat or mouse that if we don't move him he's gonna die really should have been high enough stakes for me. So I'm not really sure what wasn't working for me, but I don't know. I just didn't love Mrs. Frisby, and the Rats of NIMH were more interesting than she was. That's basically everything I have to say about this book. Have you read The Secret of NIMH? Did you like it? Did you read it as a child or as an adult? Did you read the sequel? Should I give it a try? Will I be more interested in the things that happen likely than I was in this because I was less interested in Miss Frisby and more interested in the rats? Is the book or is the movie any good, or am I going to struggle with that too? If you have a child, did they enjoy this, or did they kind of feel meh about it? Is this one of those books that I feel like it's kind of old? Is it maybe just that as a modern reader I don't love it because it is quite dated? Yeah, this was published in 1982, 82, and that was before I was born. So this book is older than I am, not by much, but a little. So maybe that, I've found that I don't connect as well with the style of older books, so it could just be that. And that varies. There are some books I do like that are older, but I don't know. It was a 3 out of 5. It was fine. It didn't do anything book-breaking to make me not like it. I just wasn't as engaged as I wanted to be, except in the middle. The beginning wasn't great, and the end wasn't great, but the middle was great. I really like the middle. Okay, so that's what I have to say about the Secrets of NIMH. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. My social media is below if you would like to connect with me. Also, I'm an author. I write romance primarily. I have all of my books on Amazon. Some of them are enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program if you would like to check them out. Until next time, this is Jane. Bye.